Well, hello everyone, and welcome once again to the Yorkshire Gamers Monthly Wargames update. And it's the usual mix of new items, new purchases, and the general goings on at Yorkshire Gamer. So they're normally 20 minutes, half an hour long, so grab yourself a cup of tea and a couple of biscuits, and we'll get straight on with the new units that have been painted. So, no surprise for unit number one. This is the twerk in progress from last month, and this is a 28mm Napoleonic Prussian line regiment or line battalion, and this is painted up as the 10th Regiment, 1st Battalion, 1st Silesian Regiment, which were part of the 4th Corps for Waterloo, von Bülow's Corps. And part of the Plan-Sinoir project. You probably remember the Young Guard that I painted a couple of months ago. This is the first unit for the other side, so I've got one unit aside at the moment. Might need a bit of work on before I get to Plan-Sinoir level. So these are 32 figures. They are all plastic peri-miniatures with a couple of heads from different packs, which we'll have a look at when we look at the individual bases as we go along, and then the flag itself is from GMB Designs. The bases are on 60 by 60. It's personal preference of mine to allow a bit of frontage so that figures don't get damaged during gaming. It does make the overall space that the unit takes up a bit bigger, but I'm trading that for protection of the figures. These don't particularly need it with the marching pose, but anything else, as you saw with the Young Guard, where you've got a musket forward, just gives them that little bit of protection. And then these units that don't need it, keep the basing the same so that we've got consistency throughout the units. So let's have a look at the bases individually. So we'll start off with the command base, or the base with the officer on. And traditionally with the Gilder stuff, you would have a mounted officer. I just didn't have the figures to do it with this. I did it with the Young Guard, if you remember. But all these are foot figures, and we've got a officer, a drummer, and then 8 guys, 8 regular infantry guys. And then if you can see on the back row, this one here is wearing a fatigue hat. Let's zoom in if we can and try and have a look at a bit of detail on the figures. Perry's absolutely love them, as you know, really easy to paint faces on. They're already kind of halfway done for you just by the quality of the sculpting. And these have been sprayed with the matte Winsor & Newton varnish, which I'm still not sure whether this sort of total matte look is I like it, but I'm just not used to it yet. I prefer just a slight tinge of satin, especially works a lot better with the metals. But like I say, I'm not complaining. It's a very nice look and a very professional look. So here we have the second front rank base with the flag, which is in certain lights it's got a real shine to it. I don't quite know why, because it's got matte varnish on. And then this guy at the end here, that is a, if you probably can tell, it is a World War II German head from a Wargames set. It has got rather a Germanic look, but they are Prussians, so there we go. And it has been mentioned, and I did notice this but didn't want to say anything, it has got a bit of a resemblance to Michael Portillo. There we go. So on with the rest of the bases, and another head here. I have no idea where this one came from. It was just in my random box of heads. So we'll give this one the full Anthea, the full twirl. Pendants amongst you. I've done the sword knots the correct colour, and there we go. Some nice, quite similar in pose these, but with some head movement you can get some nice variations. So that's base number 3, and then the final base of the 4 is this one. And just zoom out a little bit to give you a better idea. Again, I've used one of the heads from the Perry's pack there with the fatigue cap on, and got an NCO in there as well. But yeah, really happy with the ways these have come out. Let's form them up again and into our battalion of Prussians. So I'm working my way through the Prussians as per the order of battle. So I'll do another battalion of these next, and then the Fusilier battalion, and then I'll work on the Landwehr battalions from the order of battle for Waterloo. I've tried to order some from Calpe, but I'm just not getting anywhere at the moment. I don't know whether they're really busy or whatever, but I've put an order in for quite a big bulky lot, a couple of £100 worth of curved Calpe miniatures, and just not been able to get it sorted yet. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll have some Calpe for you to look at next month, along with a big load of Perrys as well. So that's the first unit I've got painted this month. So here we go with Unit 2, and this is a 28mm Swiss mounted crossbow unit. They are made up from both the plastic and metal ranges from the Perrys, and my Swiss army is based on the early Swiss, around for Nouveau time, and I found one of my old books, an Osprey Swiss at War 1300 to 1500, and they had a lovely illustration of some of the mounted crossbow from that period, used by the Swiss as scouts, more famed for the pike obviously, but there were some mounted stuff lying around within the main army. 12 figures to the unit, although this is normally used as 2 6s within a game, and these are on 50 by 60 with 50 as the frontage, and the 60 is it's extended to make sure that the horse is completely protected by the base, so slightly deeper than some units, but as with the previous one, I like the additional protection of the unit itself. So we'll just change the angle of dangle. So a look from a different angle there. They've really do pop on that particular angle there. So we'll go through the bases individually, starting with the command base. So I'll just slide everyone else off camera and concentrate on these two guys here. So this is the command stand of the base, and uniform is probably the wrong word here, but basically what I tend to do is I will take a cue from the colours in the flag and then repeat that throughout the unit randomly. These have, just by pure chance, turned out to be the same or similar, which is not a problem. So I've added little Swiss crosses, Confederation crosses in various locations on all of the figures throughout the unit, just to give them a bit of a unit feel rather than a uniform feel. So that's the command base. They're all plastic figures from there, and then move on to the other bases at random. The one here, that's a metal figure from the Metal European range. This is a plastic figure, and again I've just adorned Swiss Confederation crosses on various parts, and I've used red crosses around the I don't know what they call that, the bun on helmet. I've got no idea what it's called. Somebody will out there in Twitterverse will know. Next couple, again, metal, plastic, Swiss Confederation crosses on all of them, or some of them, just to show that they are Swiss. Another one, I like this guy here. What the fuck's going on? Really, no. The thing I've talked about this elsewhere, but that, lovely. Couldn't get that figure any other way than using the poses from the plastic figures, but I do like a heft of metal from this guy here. And then just 2 more bases left to look at. Both metal figures on this particular one here. So I'm using, as I say, the colours on the flag as a cue, but I'm not sticking religiously to it, so I don't get a completely uniform look, but a unit that looks like it's a unit. Again, we've got the Confederation crosses on there, and then different colours throughout the rest of the unit. So in terms of painting then, the horses have been done in oils, so that's a flat acrylic base, dry, cover in oil paint, and then wipe the excess off, which gives you these lovely shades. And then I've used some ink or some excess colours on the mane and the tail on some of them, just so that we get roans and bays and all those sorts of different things. Then acrylics on the horses to do the various white patches on the legs and the faces, and then coloured in the horse furniture, the bridles, etc. Did lots of different colours, but again using the 3 main colours of red, white and blue from the flag as my main colours. So what I'll do is, once I've done the horses, I'll base the horses without riders, because the basing process takes a while and I can be cracking on and doing other things. Apologies there, we've not quite got a full unit on there. I can be doing other things while I'm painting the figures. So then once I'm onto the figures, I'll go through them and I'll do random areas of blue on all of them, and then random areas of white on all of them, and then random areas of red on all of them. And then I go back through, and in areas that I haven't got, I'll put an ochre colour or a brown colour or a tan colour individually on the figures, so you get this look that we've got here that is not quite uniform but has a theme, I think is the best way of describing it. So that's the 2 units I've painted this month. Quite productive. So let's have a look at twerk in progress, and these are a bit of a palette cleanser, I would suggest. I've got lots of sprues lying around, as I suppose most of us have from free gifts from magazines, etc. And I've just decided to paint some up, stick them on eBay, see how they go, as one of the options for me when I retire, hopefully soon, will be to supplement income with a bit of commission painting. Something I used to do full time, but I haven't done for probably 30 years plus. So by getting these painted up, it's not costing me any money in figures, it's just a little bit of time investment, and I can see by selling them what sort of price range people are prepared to pay for my standard of painting, and if it matches a reasonable amount of money for me on top of my pension, then I might consider doing it. So this guy is finished. He's kind of a test figure, and the Wargames sprue, which came with one of the magazines not that long ago, they're quite chunky figures, they're a bit cartoony, but they paint up quite nicely. I'm really happy with the way this guy looks. It's come out rather nice using my normal techniques, none of that contrast paint rubbish. So yeah, really like the way that figure's come out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, I've started on the others on the sprue, as you can see, and we've got Bren Gunner, Sten gun, that's going to be a sergeant, guy running with a Sten gun, guy with glasses and a rifle, and another guy with a rifle. So basically I'm going to finish these off, and so there'll be 6 of them, and then I'm going to put them on eBay or if somebody wants to make me a very large offer that outweighs what I think they are, then more than welcome. But I'm just, like I say, I'm testing the water to see what sort of prices I can get for what I think are pretty well painted figures. So there we go, that's twerk in progress. They will be done probably in the next couple of days, and then I will be moving on to another unit of French Young Guard. How much? How much? A reasonable amount. I bought this ready-made, ready-built from my mate Gareth Lane, who was on episode 1 of the Yorkshire Gamer podcast all those years ago. And Gareth has been clearing out some of his stuff to make way for new collections, bless him. And this particular item here took my interest, as it fits in with a lot of the stuff that I've already got for World War One. Well, in fact, for any desert environment, and it's perfect. It fits in perfectly with the style. So there's a 28mm figure next to it. The chap that we've just been looking at, obviously completely incorrectly dressed for the desert. It's just for scale. But the roof's lift off. It's all done with plasticard, as you can see, and these lift off as well with these handy little tabs there. Very clever that, whoever did that. So just pop that back in. So it's got a courtyard and palm trees on the corner, and relatively plain back, but I do like these areas of exposed brickwork. Very, very nice. I don't know where Gareth got it from. If he sees this, he might put in the list, but paid 50 quid to Gareth for this, which I think is a pretty reasonable price, and I'm more than happy that that fits in with all my other World War One stuff, and hopefully we'll get a Christmas game done this year and you might see it in action. So that's the first thing that I've purchased. So I've got a couple of big orders in, with one with Perry's and one with Calpay, but they're not here this month. So let's have a look what I've spent this month. And I've been away on holiday, so I had a trip to my favourite shop in the world, Wonderland Models in Edinburgh, and I've picked up some bits and pieces. So you may remember I spoke a while ago about getting a copy of Bruce Quarry's World War II Airfix rules. And I have purchased 2 boxes of infantry because I'm going to try, I think I mentioned it on the podcast or maybe on here, I'm going to try and recreate a game of my childhood using the World War II Bruce Quarry rules from the Airfix guide. I didn't go for British paratroops because everybody does Arnhem, so I am doing Nijmegen or somewhere with the US paratroops. So I've got a box of US paratroops and a box of World War II infantry, and I'm going to try and pick up a couple of armoured vehicles from somewhere, cheaper the better, and do a little kind of game. But what I do want to show you, and this is the thing with this sort of nostalgia, I suppose, is how a figure can bring back so many memories. And that German officer firing the Luger, that's my childhood there in one figure. What amazing. And these are all really shiny and obviously soft plastic and well outside the sort of stuff that you can buy these days. But this is purely a nostalgia project, and I think if I'm doing the World War II Bruce Quarry rules, I think this is the way to go with it, and go full on old school with it. You know, these two have cost me 10 quid, 10 quid for nearly 100 figures, so it's not breaking the bank. And I'm sure I can pick up 3 or 4 cheap models on eBay for both sides as well, a couple of Stugs and a Sherman or whatever. So that's the first purchase. So during my trip to Wonderland Models, I picked up these guys. This is an Israeli tank crew. for my shot kai that I bought probably a couple of years ago now. It's been fully built and waiting to be painted in a box somewhere, so I'm hoping that this will sort of boost my sort of enthusiasm to get that tank finish off. There is a very close resemblance to the crew from Valley of Tears, if you have watched that, an absolutely superb film, which about the Arab-Israeli war. So that bought that from Wonderland Games, and then I picked up some French cavalry, 14 figures. So I should be adding another 10 to get a proper size unit, not 12 bloody figures. So they're really nice old pair of stuff as usual. And whilst I was there, you can never have too many French Napoleonic line battalions, so I bought myself another one of those while I was there. And then finally, kind of the big purchase was this guy. This is a pure vanity project, 148 Fairy Swordfish. It's one of my favourite planes. It's just so ridiculously impractical and out of date for World War II. The bravery of the guys who flew in these is just absolutely amazing. And this is a really nice detail kit. You can get some photo etch for it as well, which is shown there. And imagine going to war like that. Oh, it's just madness getting 3 people in there. But there you go. So looking forward to building that sometime in the future. So that's my purchases for this month. So time for the scores on the doors, as we do every month, just seeing how people are in our numbers of people following Yorkshire Gamer. And once again, thank you very much for doing so. Wherever you do it, leave a like and a comment and subscribe, and let the Yorkshire Gamer grow, although I am getting slimmer through my new medically enforced diet. But let other areas of Yorkshire Gamer grow, that's what I'm saying. So Facebook up 31, 2894. Kind of the craze of the World Cup of Wargames manufacturers is over, so back to normal levels. Twitter's keeps steady away up. There's a lot of people leaving Twitter. I recommend that people stay. The Wargames area in Twitter is brilliant. Just block all the other shite out. Instagram up 9, steady away. Started posting more and more regularly on there, so that might start going up again. YouTube's up a nice healthy 52, 2,600. My mate Alex on Storm of Steel, 14,000. Is he more than 3 times better than me? I don't think he is, to be honest. Gosh, sounded like Donald Trump there, didn't I? Podcast up 2 on Podbean. Give us a follow if you can on Podbean. Let's get that up to 500. That'd be lovely. Facebook group, nice big, nearly 200 extra. It's getting not too difficult to handle, but with 4,500 now, it's taking a little bit of time with the admin on there. But most people are pretty good. We just get these 3D dickheads who just come in and try and sell you figures that look like the melted German guy from Indiana Jones, and I'm not interested. So that's just blocking them. It takes a little bit of time, but we get there. And then podcast downloads, 153410, up 4,200-ish on the month, and we'll talk about the episodes we've had out recently very shortly. And then Blue Sky 266 up 12, and again, full back for Twitter. A lot of people still on Twitter. So that's the scores and doors. Let's have a look at what's been going on elsewhere on Yorkshire Gamer. Just the one podcast so far this month, and that was episode 63, and I had Paul Thompson back on the show, previous guest, and we had a good catch up about early war miniatures and the World War II German raid on the Isle of Wight. So there you have it, another month has gone by. Finish off with a shot of my Planting-Wire project today, 1 battalion of Young Guard and 1 battalion of Prussians, and you'll see that growing over the years as we go on to hopefully be doing a Plants and War display game in 2 or 3 years' time. Let's just see how we get on with that. Thanks very much for tuning in to the monthly Wargames update. Tune into the Yorkshire Gamer podcast, either on YouTube or on Podbean, or one of the audio outlets for podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you want to tune in and listen. I've just literally recorded an episode with a chap called Andy Johnson, who is a wargamer and historical novelist, as well as being an ex-member of the Coldstream Guards. So that was a lovely chat with Andy, and hopefully I shall have that out to you in a week or so. Till next time, Steady.